Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Um, okay, under the heading, next items of business, reviewing upcoming events, we have our DreamHost renewal. It was supposed to come up yesterday, but from the mail I saw from Brian today, it looks like they still had our old card from the community bank, so we'll have to get that information.
I got it from Mike. I tried to resubmit it. I'm just running into a couple of issues. I have to contact DreamHost. Has to do with phone number entry, I think.
Okay. Noted, upcoming on the the 9th, NetApp's DoD and NATO Virtual Tech Day is an event. So just, Matt got some publicity out for that. Um, just try to drum up a little bit more business for them. Other upcoming event, we have our annual report due to the garrison on 7 October. So there's a couple of questions later on down, but just that's coming up, which means that we will need minutes, which we're missing. We'll try to dance around that. We'll need a financial statement. Um, Pretty much the same thing as our initial packet, just less audit. We just put in our last audit, he said. So those items coming up. Any comments or discussion?
So we probably need to, I think we still need to do the bank stuff. So that, because I'd like to get, like to pull the financial report. I think Mike's the only one that can do it right now, right?
Right now, yeah, and that was coming up next anyhow. So
Okay.
um, we can just jump there. The first item under old business is bank signatures. So yeah, you need to get on it according to Mike. The way Andrews does it is you have to go over with him. He identifies and you sign. And the question is, if we don't have a vice president yet, who else should be on there with you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just work on getting myself on for now, and then because yeah, we went over there once before, and I think we needed a memo from Levi. So now I don't know how to work. So probably that's probably I don't know what they're doing for, or and I know Mike's teleworking. That's probably gonna be a week or two. So what I'll do right now is I'll just reach out to Mr. Iglesias and let him know that we're working on all this stuff, or try to set a deadline with him. We'll start
Yeah,
scoring that stuff.
and I will send the update to on Andre now being on the board up to Iglesias and EMEA, and then the official thing into ISC squared. Next item of business, signatures for the APO. We've gotten our updated memo from Mr. Iglesias, um, and the copy was over there to the lady at the post office. So just you can stop in and you guys that are on the signature card and go ahead and get it signed. So we've got that just for people to do when they're next on post or something. Let's see. Next item, raffle approval. Um, I guess you discussed that, Simon. Anything else you want to say on that?
Oh, I talked about. I'll just get that going again when I owe Mr. Iglesias an email, I suppose, to like cover all this stuff. I'll take care of it today.
Okay, good. Next item carried over was getting in contact with the high school to find out what they needed or ideas that they might like for funding, not to commit, but just to have some projects to go along with the raffle for part of the proceeds.
Yeah, and with all this stuff going on, I had tried to reach out. So that's probably a little ways off anyway. I'm gonna worry about the getting the raffle squared away first, and then I'll take care of that.
Okay, just a thought that it might help, when we're making our application to say part of this is going to, some kind of charity in the community. So just a thought to help with the justification there. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm still kind of worried that we're gonna get our, cover the expense like from the raffle, especially with all this stuff going on. So I don't want to promise the installation or the high school.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that if we had a list of ideas that then we knew what we might want to do, but absolutely don't promise them anything right now because we're up in the air. So, and thanks, Brian. Next item was setting a date and agenda for the AGM.
We should just do this virtually, right? I mean, at this point, it doesn't.
At this point, we're so far slipped. We're slipped further now than we were slipped a year ago, which was already like 3 months slipped.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, we're going to be a whole entire year slipped off cycle.
I think we should people are just sitting at home doing whatever. We should just say let's do this thing next week and just do a virtual. Here's what we got going on right now, even though there's not much, right? We can at least talk about the elections and the few plans, I think.
What about later on? We're going to be discussing a presentation from one of our members. What about merging the two events? This way we can get additional people for the membership or for the members meeting.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think, if we're going to talk about elections and upcoming news, that's probably 10 minutes worth of meeting. So I think that's a good idea.
So we're of the opinion combine it with the presentation in June or July.
Yeah, I'd almost like to do it sooner. I want when I don't know when it would be cool if that guy that I forget what his name was.
Are you talking Ingo?
Yeah, who what?
Ingo?
Yeah. Ingo? Yeah, if he could present this month, it would be nice to do it this month. People, like I said, I don't think it's not like we got to get people to cancel work appointments and we're going to pop something on them that people can't do. I think everyone's just sitting at home and they'll dial into a lunchtime meeting. We could even do it later. I don't know, I mean, it'd probably get to be sick with lunch, but I don't think it's so painful to pop a meeting on people right now. To do it the week in 2 weeks, the week after next. If that individual is ready to present, the 20th, 27th.
Let's see, what did he say? He said June 24th is a date that works best for him. That's a bit far out.
Are you talking about Ingo or are you talking about...
I'm talking about Richard Windsor, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, let me see.
Hey, Bruce, have you reached out to Ingo to find out when he wants to do the second part of his brief?
I haven't spoken with him. We can reach out to him.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking because you were the one that was most in contact with him. Andre should have been on it, but come on now.
Yeah.
So I guess that was a question. I mean, is that something that I should follow up with Ingo?
Yeah, that'd be good. I think let Andre run with that, and if you can talk to him and see if he wants to finish up this month.
Okay.
and then we can tell them, hey, you don't need to go a full hour. We actually prefer that you don't go a full hour. If you 40 minutes, 35 minutes, and then we do.
And this is in conjunction with the AGM. I'm not sure what that is.
The annual like member
and annual general meeting.
Yeah.
We're required to have at least one member meeting per year by ISC squared to keep our charter.
So
okay, so it's going to be in conjunction with that, the presentation. Okay.
Yeah. And so and tell them, hey, like we'd like to do it the 20th or the 27th. I think those 2 days are good. Lunchtime. BYOL.
Okay, any more discussion on that? So Andre's gonna reach out to Ingo and that. Okay, next item, just to bring up for discussion out there in the read ahead directory. I have been working on a draft revision of the bylaws just to clear up some of the things we've talked about over the last couple of months about in one place it says this, on one place it says another. It says we're supposed to use, the current bylaws say we're supposed to use, allow 3 or 4 days for regular paper mail to vote, various other contradictions. So I've put together this draft for discussion and comments and thoughts. And it's been marked up with either items that are being proposed to be taken out or new stuff. It emphasizes a lot of the concerns of some of the last stuff that was put in after the problems with some, previous board members where it just specifically states if you represent yourself inappropriately from the chapter, that's grounds for renewal. Just things like that. So that's there for discussion. Any other thoughts before we move on?
No, we can all take a look. I don't know. I think we're going to have a hard time like we did last. I mean, we got to get some regular meetings going before we try to like round everybody up and get them to vote on some more bylaws. So I think that's probably.
Well, yeah, and there's just the current bylaws do have a provision that when you read through them all, it says the board can adopt changes, and then our only requirement is to notify the membership before the next meeting that these are there, and then if they wish to ratify or veto or change, then they can. Otherwise, they agree. And it doesn't necessarily, that process does not require a 2/3 vote like we scrambled to get last time.
These are mine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. We can take a look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just out there for discussion and people to say, let's do it a different way or a different thing. But again, sorry.
And so Andre probably needs a link to the Google Drive, and can you resend it to me? Last time I tried, I couldn't get in for some reason. So.
I'm sorry, I missed that one. You started. Your sound went off a little bit.
Oh, so yeah, sorry. The Google Drive. Can you send the link? Like I couldn't get in last time I tried, and Andre probably needs a link too.
I will do that right now.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, next item they're here for discussion. The the bylaws say the secretary takes care of maintaining the chapter handbook. I have no idea what that is. I was assuming it was SOPs. So out there in the Google Drive there in the upcoming meetings directory, the draft that I started, concentrating mostly on events based on our experience from our last physical meeting and check-in, roles and responsibilities, taking some ideas and documentation that Brian had. So comments on format, inclusion, and especially Brian and Matt and Andre looking at that based on what you'd like to see for events once we get back to having physical events again. So again, that's just out there for discussion.
Yeah, we can pick that back up. I think we had a good stop, in our living memory, and now it's kind of fallen apart a bit with the lack of physical events. But it shouldn't be an issue once we get spun back up on it.
Yeah, I've been taking everything that I don't know what I have to do and whatever learning experiences they are and trying to write them down. So this seems to be a good place. And as people have ideas, if you want me to do the documentation, I'm glad to do that. Okay, next item, new business. Brian and Andre were talking to Richard Windsor about a member presentation. Brian, Andre?
So hold on, let me pull it up real quick. We received an email a while back from from Richard Windsor, who's one of our contract members. Not that that really is relevant. Identifying that he'd like to partake and present on. Give me a second. I'm trying to. I cannot find the email. Oh,
I
that's
think
because
it
there's
was
like.
Agile in the information systems development.
Yes, it has to do with security and agile development. That's right. And he proposed 4 different dates, either June 24th, July 8th, July 15th, or July 29th. I've already told him that our briefings tend to be 1 hour, a little bit less, and he was good with that. I think this is a topic that will definitely be able to sell. Because even though we don't have a ton of developers here, there are a lot of people that are interested in agile, and we do work in a heavily secure environment. So, I think this will be a good one. But we'll just have to, identify what date we want to go, and then Andre and Richard can figure out how they want to do it.
Roger, tracking.
And I guess, go ahead,
And
Brian.
real quick, Andre, I know you missed some of the emails, or you may have missed them. If you didn't, I don't know if you're checking your events at email address at this point, but I added Andre's personal and .mil email address. So
Yeah,
he's now
I see it. I see the
Okay.
email.
Just to make sure you got all the traffic and you're aware of what's been going on, and so you can see the content, you have his contact info, etc.
Yep.
So I have nothing else to say on that one.
So I'll follow up on that.
And I guess I just say, the earlier the better, so we can start getting more events for the members out there.
Especially, I think now's a great time while everyone is isolated or pseudo-isolated. I think we had a pretty darn good response last time, especially for our first time.
Yeah, I'll get on it right away. Both Ingo and this other Richard Windsor.
Really, either one of them. If either one of them can go early, that'd be good. I'd like to, not push that the general meeting too far down the road.
I think we'll be luckier with Ingo. Richard already proposed a month and a half from now is his first date.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to stress anybody out if they're gonna, especially for a member presentation. So. That sounds good.
Okay, next item under new business, again, a discussion item. I found as I was cleaning up the data, our old expense policy, it was pretty much oriented around just travel and hotel expenses, not that we do that much of it anymore. So I reformatted it and put in some things about Brian's supplies, buying supplies, and the kind of expenses that we normally do. Set up an update for the spreadsheets for Mike, and again cleaned up some wording and some copy and paste stuff. So that's just out there for review, comments, and I would like to submit it for a vote for ratification at our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, next item, yearly audit. There's an event on the calendar for us doing a yearly audit, and I'm just wondering, again, out of the institutional memory, is there a requirement that we do a yearly audit from any place, or have we just decided to do this, or are there any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't remember what IC squared or the MWR requires for audit.
Garrison, I think, only requires a current audit when we resubmit our package. And he said we can use the old one. And, whether we just, like I said, somewhere I've seen some references, it's on our calendar. So I was just wondering if that was people thinking or we have something that we need to target.
Give me 1 second. I'm checking something right now. So I'm looking at IC squared's chapter handbook, and it doesn't mention anything about financial audits.
Guys, I'm stepping away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't want to do any extracurricular audits. I don't know. I wonder where that came from.
That was my question. Maybe somebody was just scheduling something based on the other one. So I would say then, okay, we can take that out of the schedule of events. We need to make sure that we've got one done in time to submit to the garrison next year.
Yeah. So wait, so not use this one. We'll need one when we have to resubmit next year, right? A new one, or can we use the old one still? I don't think we should use.
I can check with Mr. Iglesias, but I think they'd probably want something that was a little more current than, well, I don't know.
Well,
I'll ask him.
it's probably a good idea for us to do it anyway, but we probably need Mike for this too. We should throw this back on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. So we move that to the next meeting. Yeah, because when we actually do an audit, then we're going to need to get a bunch of stuff, from the treasurer and out of QuickBooks and everything. So, okay, so we'll just carry that
So
over to
real,
the next
real
meeting.
quick, IC squared, it looks like they only require that we could set up a committee to do an internal audit, but it doesn't look like external audits are required from IC squared. That's not necessarily true of of MWR.
Okay, so no requirement for any audit out of ISC.
No.
Okay, so then we'll carry that over to the next meeting. Next item was just to note that in the process of getting my base access pass, thanks everybody. They do say that for other members that we have for meetings that need to be signed in, if we get their information, if we get them that information to the IAX office, like at least 3 working days before the event, they can be on the base access roster, get checked off, and come on without somebody having to sign them in. So just bringing that up for things to think about when we start having physical meetings. Next item, a discussion on the mobile point of sale apps. In going through the data cleanup, I'd seen had some discussions with Brian where in the past we talked about getting some kind of account for the mobile point of sales so that when people came in to a meeting, we could just take their credit card, process it, instead of trying to deal with accounting for cash, getting it to Mike having to take it over to the bank to make the deposit and get it recorded. And there were just a couple thoughts on that. It was a question. There's basically 2 that appear to be really viable, either Square, which does kind of integrate with Wild Apricot because it sends receipts over to Wild Apricot. The other would be PayPal's Help Now. And the only thing is that they all keep saying these things don't work in Germany, but I'm just wondering if our PayPal account is in the States,
It is.
and didn't want to pursue anything more on that. So
Our
without
PayPal is in the
getting everything
US.
up. So go ahead, Brian, please.
Sorry, our PayPal is in the US.
Okay, so then theoretically, at least their app would still continue to work for our members here.
Yeah, and if we don't mention that we're in Germany, Square should work as well, as far as I know. It's just a matter of, because we're using a military address, we're not using our German address. And I mean, I don't know if we file any taxes or what have you, but all that goes, anything like that would go through the US system, not the Germans.
Okay, so there's, that's up for discussion, and I guess just basically for us to think about, do we want to invest in this once we get back to um, physical meetings where we'd actually use that? So again, I think this was just an item to discuss, people to think about. We can have the web committee um, see if they want to take that on or not. So just thoughts from everybody else.
No, I think it's fine to look into. That's no issues.
Okay. Next item, data committee charter revision. Just that's out there. That was out there for review. A minor thing recording our change of the chairmanship of the committee. So Simon, I'll send this to you after the meeting. All it needs is your signature down at the bottom, and send it back to me, and I'll get it filed then.
On the Google Drive, I could just find it and sign it.
And I did send the Google Drive link to everybody. So if you have a second, just give it a shot. And if you have any issues, let me know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm on here.
So I got a question, just a technical. I'm in this wild apricot. I sent myself a test email. It looks like it takes a while for email to go through to be
So-
sent.
It queues it up and it uses their mail servers. It's usually pretty quick, but it's not instant.
Oh, okay.
The other question is, how are you checking the email? Or have you attached this to your Gmail or something like that?
Looks like it's going to my .mail account.
I was gonna say with Gmail, it's usually unless you force it, it will only check for POP email or LDAP or not LDAP, but POP or
IMAP.
IMAP. Thank you. Every 60 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just testing this out before because I assume I'm going to be sending those gentlemen with the request for their participation via this email.
So I wouldn't go through Wild Apricot to send those type of emails.
Oh, okay.
I would go through your whatever email you're using. So, for example, you could go through Wild Apricot or not, excuse me, through DreamHost's email system, which I don't know. Did anyone forward you the? Well, I'll forward it to you. It gives you the links to everything that you need and how to configure it so you can pull email however. But I've got it set up that it automatically gets forwarded to my or downloaded to my personal Gmail account, and that's how I send all my email or most of it.
That's how I do it too.
Okay, but then it looks like it's sent through whatever the other email.
Yeah,
No,
Not
it'll show that like if you look at your email that you just received from me, it'll show that it came from my ISC squared email address.
Oh, okay.
Brian, did you see that how-to document I sent you where I took your
Yes.
stuff and put the screenshots on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I found that worked very good, for Gmail. Don't know anything about any others, but yeah, Andre, what it does is once you set it up, then when you do a message, you can just click on the from line and pick which account you want it to come out as.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is I just got this learning curve. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's, I'm I went through all the same things, so and we tried to write them down. So, yeah, Brian, could you send them that how-to document?
Will do.
Last thing here under new business, I just wanted to say that, based on some discussions that had with Matt and some of Matt's comments about NetApp's been very big about getting some of their events out there, boosting the chapter a little bit, us boosting them, but they are CPE eligible events. Even though members will have to self-submit for those with the new CPE page, it's very easy now. And I just wanted to get people's thoughts about soliciting our other sponsors to see if they have events that we would help publicize, get CPEs for the members. And like Matt said, maybe they're a little bit more vetted than the stuff that keeps showing up in the email every day. So just thoughts on that.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, if we can get Cisco or whomever to start doing presentations, that would definitely open up the field because Cisco, I don't know how many people are using NetApp in our current environment, but I know we got a ton of people using Cisco.
If the other sponsors want to funnel events through us for additional exposure, I don't see a downside at all.
No,
other
not
than
at all. I
extra
agree.
emails for members, you know. But and especially right now, this is I don't know about everybody else and the members, but this is a great time to catch up on CPEs. Those are
It's a
my
good
thoughts.
idea. Yeah.
So I just wonder whose lane is that? Is that my lane?
Who's our corporate guy?
Why do you have to ask these type of questions, huh?
Why do you have to mess us up? We're almost done with the meeting. I would so if it's literally just passing on a message, I'm happy to craft emails and target them and send them out and say, hey, here's a Cisco event. Here's the link to the WebEx. Click on it if you want, and then submit your CPEs. If it's an actual like chapter sponsored event, then yeah, I would think it falls more in Andre's lane. But just sending emails and encouraging people to get CPEs, I can easily do that.
So I think what we can do is I'll send from the corporate advisor out and say, you know, if you've got presentations you'd like to give as a lunch and learn, get hold of events and communications. If you just have other of your corporate events that we're not going to sponsor, but that it's good for our members, if they've got ideas, then they work to get them on our event calendar and Matt to send out the emails telling our members that, hey, here's a good opportunity. And probably, like you said, Matt, worth more than a bunch of the stuff that shows up in your inbox.
Yeah. So what I've been working on, and I didn't submit it as an agenda item for today or as a read ahead, because I don't think it's even alpha ready to get torn apart by you guys. Is I'm trying to kind of work on a communication strategy that involves frequency and subjects of emails going out to members, a la a monthly newsletter. I don't know if that's the form that it should take per se, but I want some targeted, effective communications that'll give people the information they need without getting annoying to the point of unsubscribe or Outlook rule or spam folder or whatever. That people can say, hey, this is from the chapter that I'm paying money to be a member of, and I know that this has been, like you say, this is kind of vetted and approved, and we know that this will get me a CPE, and maybe I'll even learn something from it.
Well, that sounds good.
Mind, we have a corporate advisor.
Yes,
Is that what I'm
that's
hearing?
the
Okay.
position that I was actually elected to.
Oh, okay. So you are the corporate advisor.
Yeah, or liaison, whatever.
You have contacts that you coordinate with.
Yes, I do. And if when you get into the Google Drive under the chapter operations, there is a folder for the corporate advisor. And in there is the master list of our sponsors and potential sponsors and a contact log where I just record the last time I talked to anybody.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, sorry to take up the time, everybody's time with this. As it's all new, so just trying to wrap my head around it.
not a problem. And And then down there, farther down in that directory are details like their corporate logos and things that they provided for Brian to put up on the web page. So, okay, any other new business?
Can't think of anything.
Nothing here. I got a couple of due outs, I think, and I'll when when I hear back from Mr. Iglesias and the other things I got to do, I'll make sure you guys are informed.
Okay, and under the standing report, Mike's not here, so no treasurer's report. Corporate advisors report, that's in the read ahead folder. Basically, we've got our 4 sponsors. We owe them lunch and learns, which we haven't had a chance to put it up yet, and not a lot of progress on tracking down any of the possibles yet. Most people, I think, are extra busy with changing their work environment and how their company's working. So we're probably down on the list of emails to answer, but I will make another round this month. Brian, anything for membership you want to highlight?
Now, right now, because I think part because we've had very low activity, we did get one new person to sign up, but we're at 61 active members right now, and 47 lapsed members. Now, some of those, of course, are people that have PCS, whatever. I tried to get people to respond to say, hey, here's why I'm gone. And I had 4 people respond to me. So that didn't work out too well.
Darn, that's disheartening.
Yeah. I think this, as soon as they see an email coming from IC Square, they say, well, I already PCS, so I'm just going to ignore it.
Bruce, maybe we should take an agenda item for next month for new business, and I will try to organize some thoughts in the meantime. I think we should re-engage hard on the membership drive. We keep talking about it, and I know that's largely just going to be a marketing play that I'll probably have to do some lifting on. I want to do it. I know we need to do it. So I'll put some thoughts on paper, and maybe we can just chat about it informally in the Slack channel between now and then, and get something going. And I know posters are kind of pointless right now because nobody's going into work. But I think if we could, I don't want to burn any more of our collective time spitballing ideas. But I think we should talk about it at length next meeting.
It'd be tough right now anyway, right? Because we get our members by holding events on. I wouldn't be too disheartened. I think once we get back into like somewhat normal operations, the membership will grow again. So,
Well, I think if we can start getting more sponsors to do these presentations virtually, I think that we'll be able to actually, I think we might be able to see some benefit. And NetApp is doing their own internal stuff, but we might be able to get either NetApp or another organization to do a sponsored virtual event. Maybe it doesn't count against their 1 or 2 a year that they get, but at least it's an IC squared sponsored event where we can submit the CPs and all that, and they're doing it as they always would, except online.
Yeah, and Matt, I did reach out to Dan Warshawski about the presentation on the Cisco umbrella, and he said he'd get back to me.
Okay, yeah, like you say, we're probably low on the list right now. I'm sure they got bigger fish to fry than.
and they're doing weekly. I get like a meeting invite every week from Dan regarding some new. I think they're trying to do like Yeah, it's probably their own marketing deal that they're trying to sustain with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, should I should I reach out to Dan and say, hey, NetApp's got a few events we're helping publicize.
I'd reach
We can
out to
help.
all of them. Honestly, Dell, Cisco, I'd reach out to all the sponsors and say, hey, this is what NetApp is doing. And if you have anything like that you'd like us to publicize on your behalf, we'll do it. The only my hold up on that is if it's literally just a sales pitch and it's just like pre-sales engineers talking to money people, then it's probably not a CPE worthy event. But if it's an actual if there's a tech component where they're showing how the solution works and the benefits it brings to the enterprise, that kind of stuff, yeah, absolutely. But if it's just a marketing, shindig, but I guess that's kind of how tightly do we vet that? We're not Recorded Future or SANS. How tightly do we vet that as a local chapter? I don't know, but I think we should definitely offer to publicize things that they on the honor system that they assert would be useful to members. My thoughts.
I mean, the Cisco ones that I've sat through, I haven't gotten a lot out of. It's been, yeah, borderline like sales pitches. So, and I don't think they're gonna, I don't think we're gonna get any like super technical. I don't know. I don't think there's
well, that's okay. And I mean, yeah, I trust your assessment of those. The Cisco guy that came in person last year, the skinny guy, that was a good technical presentation. Like I got quite a lot out of that personally. So if they would do things like that, 100%, I would say put those in for CPEs. But.
Yeah. But like last week, I think was smart licensing. That was like super boring and not cool. Yeah.
Well, I can then reach out and send them some emails, and when and if anybody comes back with their thoughts, then I'll just launch it out to all you guys to see if we want to schedule it or not.
Even if they say no or ignore it, at least it shows we're making the overtures to give them some value for their sponsorship dollars.
Yeah, because once this is over, it would be nice that we can roll the sponsorships over and renew them next year. So
yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, and whatever I hear back, I will let everybody know.
Cool. 5-minute warning, guys. I got to drop at 1 for another call.
The last thing, data committee report. Doing backups about once a month. I figure once we get back to physical meetings, we can keep the backups in the Pelican case or someplace. I'll keep a copy. Brian, don't know, do you want copies?
No, I don't think we need to have too many copies.
Okay. So, and we do have the Spectrum stuff still all backed up, so we can go back that far if we need to. Other than that, that's the end of the agenda items. Simon?
Anything else?
Okay.
Actually, I'm not.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then I guess, Simon, you can declare the meeting adjourned at.
Hey, real quick. I thought I was speaking. I thought my mute was off. Real quick. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah. I hear you.
Okay, good. I received 2 emails. One was in reference to a escape room type electronic escape room. I have not followed up on that. Something that we might want to look at. That might be beneficial to some of our members. I know, Matt, you had expressed an interest in something like that
That
when I
sounds
first sent
neat.
it out.
Sorry.
So when I first sent it out, I think you had expressed an interest in partaking. So I think what we should probably do is coordinate something with these guys and move forward on it. And I received another one that I haven't scrutinized yet. I just got it a couple days ago. But I will let, they're looking at some sort of workshop worth 3 CPEs, free to attend.
Oh, cool.
Yep. It's an organization called Securonics.
Okay.
So I'll shoot that over to you guys too.
All right. Sounds neat.
And I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else, and if no one else does, I think we're good.
Okay, then meeting adjourned at 12:58.
All right.
Gentlemen, Matt, I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
Yeah. Out.
Yeah.